Hello everyone and welcome to NetStrux. In this three-part series, we are going to configure VLANs on MikroTik in a practical step-by-step lab. In part 1, we will prepare the VMware virtual networks, identify the access and trunk ports, create the bridge, and configure the PVID values for the client ports. In part 2, we will configure the Bridge VLAN Table and enable VLAN filtering. In part 3, we will create the VLAN interfaces on the router and configure inter-VLAN routing. The virtual machines have already been created and the MikroTik CHR disk files are already attached to them, so we can go directly to the network configuration. Part 2. Configure the VMware management network. First, we need a management network so that we can connect to the router and switch from the main Windows computer using Winbox. From the top menu in VMware, I'm clicking Edit and then opening Virtual Network Editor. If the Change Settings button is displayed, I'm clicking it and approving the administrator permission request. Step 2. Configure VMnet 1. From the list of virtual networks, I'm selecting VMnet 1. I'm setting the network type to host only. This allows the virtual machines to communicate with the host computer while keeping the management network separate from the physical network. I'm keeping the option to connect to a host virtual adapter enabled. Now I'm disabling VMware's internal DHCP service because we will assign the management addresses manually. In the subnet IP field, I'm entering 192.168.56.0 and I'm setting the subnet mask to 255.255.255.0. Now I'm clicking apply, followed by OK. Step 3. Checking host computer's IP address. Inside the Windows Network Adapter settings, I'm opening VMware Network Adapter VMnet 1. I'm setting its IP address to 192.168.56.1 and the subnet mask to 255.255.255.0. I'm leaving the default gateway and DNS fields empty because this network is only used for internal lab management. I'm clicking OK and closing the remaining windows. Part 3. Create the LAN segments. Now we need 3 isolated virtual networks to connect our devices. Inside the network adapter settings, I'm clicking LAN segments. I'm naming the first segment trunk. This network will connect R1 to SW1. I'm naming the second segment access VLAN 10 PC1 and the VLAN 10 access port will connect to this network. The third segment will be named access VLAN 20. This network will connect PC2 to the VLAN 20 access port. Now I'm clicking OK. Part 4. Connect the network adapters. I'm opening the settings of MikroTik R1. The first network adapter is connected to VMnet 1. This adapter will only be used for device management. I'm connecting the second adapter to the LAN segment named trunk. This adapter will later carry the traffic for VLAN 10 and VLAN 20 between the router and the switch. Step 6. Configure SW1. Now I'm opening the settings of MikroTik SW1. Now the first adapter is connected to VMnet 1 for management. The second adapter is connected to trunk. The third adapter is connected to access VLAN 10. And the fourth adapter is connected to access VLAN 20. In a physical network, these adapters would represent the physical ports of the switch. Step 7. Connect the client devices. I'm connecting the network adapter of PC1 to access VLAN 10. I'm connecting the network adapter of PC2 to access VLAN 20. The virtual topology is now complete. Part 5. Prepare R1 and SW1 in Winbox. First, I'm starting R1. I'm opening Winbox and inside the Neighbors tab, I'm selecting the device using its MAC address. I'm connecting with the username admin. The default configuration has already been removed, so we can go directly to naming the device and its interfaces. Step 9. Name R1 and its interfaces. From the system menu, I'm opening Identity and setting the device name to MikroTik R1. Now I'm opening the interfaces section. I'm renaming either one to MGMT because this interface is used for management. I'm renaming either to trunk to SW1. Step 10. Configure the R1 management address. From the IP menu, I'm opening addresses and clicking the plus button. I'm entering 192.168.56.2/24 and selecting MGMT as the interface. Now I'm clicking apply, followed by OK. Step 11. Connect to SW1. Now I'm starting the MikroTik SW1 virtual machine. Inside the Neighbors tab, I'm selecting the device and connecting through its MAC address. From system, I'm opening Identity and setting the device name to MikroTik SW1. Step 12. Rename the SW1 interfaces. Now I'm opening the interfaces section. I'm renaming either one to MGMT. I'm renaming either two to trunk to R1. I'm changing either 3 to access VLAN 10. Finally, I'm renaming either 4 to access VLAN 20. With these names, the role of every interface is immediately clear. Step 13. Configure the SW1 management address. From the IP menu, I'm opening addresses. I'm assigning 192.168.56.3/24 to the MGMT interface. R1 and SW1 are now both accessible through the management network. Part 6. A quick explanation of VLAN concepts. Before creating the bridge, let's quickly review the role of each port. An access port is used to connect endpoint devices such as computers, printers, and cameras. In this lab, PC1 is connected to the VLAN 10 access port, while PC2 is connected to the VLAN 20 access port. Client devices normally send their Ethernet frames without VLAN tags. Step 15. Trunk ports. A trunk port is used to carry multiple VLANs over a single connection. In this lab, the traffic for both VLAN 10 and VLAN 20 will pass over the same link between R1 and SW1. Step 16. PVID. PVID determines which VLAN an incoming untagged frame belongs to. If the PVID of a port is 10, an incoming untagged frame is classified as VLAN 10 traffic. We will assign PVID 10 to the PC1 access port and PVID 20 to the PC2 access port. Part 7. Create the bridge and add the ports. Now I'm opening the bridge section on SW1. Inside the bridge tab, I'm clicking the plus button. I'm naming the bridge VLAN and I'm keeping the protocol mode set to RSTP. For now, I'm leaving VLAN filtering disabled. We have not configured the Bridge VLAN table yet. If we enable VLAN filtering too early, our traffic may be dropped. I'm clicking apply, followed by OK. Step 18. Add the trunk port. I'm opening the ports tab and clicking the plus button. For the interface, I'm selecting trunk to R1. For the bridge, I'm selecting BR VLAN. In the VLAN settings, I'm keeping the PVID at 1. I'm enabling ingress filtering. For frame types, I'm selecting admit only VLAN tagged because this interface should only receive tagged traffic. Now I'm clicking apply, followed by OK. Step 19. At the VLAN 10 access port, I'm clicking the plus button again. For the interface, I'm selecting access VLAN 10. For the bridge, I'm selecting BR VLAN. I'm setting the PVID of this interface to 10. I'm enabling ingress filtering and setting frame types to admit only untagged and priority tagged. After VLAN filtering is enabled, every untagged frame entering from PC1 will be classified as VLAN 10 traffic. Now I'm clicking apply, followed by OK. Step 20. At the VLAN 20 access port, I'm repeating the same process for the PC2 interface. I'm selecting access VLAN 20 as the interface and BR VLAN as the bridge. I'm setting the PVID to 20. I'm enabling ingress filtering and selecting admit only untagged and priority tagged for the frame types setting. Now I'm clicking apply, followed by OK. Part 8. Verify the configuration. Inside the bridge port section, we can now see three interfaces. Trunk to R1 is prepared for tagged traffic. Access VLAN 10 has PVID 10. Access VLAN 20 has PVID 20. The management interface has not been added to the bridge, so our management access remains independent from the VLAN configuration. Step 22. Show that VLAN filtering is disabled. I'm returning to the BR VLAN settings. As you can see, VLAN filtering is still disabled. At this stage, we have only prepared the ports and assigned the PVID values. Actual VLAN separation will begin after we configure the Bridge VLAN table and enable VLAN filtering. Part 9. Summary and closing. In this video, we prepared the VMware management network and created the required LAN segments. We then connected the network adapters of R1, SW1, PC1, and PC2 to the correct virtual networks. After that, we named the devices and their interfaces and assigned management addresses to R1 and SW1. We also reviewed the concepts of access ports, trunk ports, and PVID. Finally, we created the bridge, added the trunk port, and assigned PVID 10 and PVID 20 to the two client access ports. In part 2, we will configure the Bridge VLAN table, define the tagged and untagged ports, and enable VLAN filtering. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to NetStrux so you do not miss the next part of this series. I'll see you in the next video.